A lesson from childhood: the importance of details. Today, as I was reminiscing about my childhood, an incident came to mind. It was a bit embarrassing, but it turned out to be a learning experience for a lifetime. I had just entered the 5th grade, which in India we refer to as secondary school. Primary school covers kindergarten through 4th grade, and we used to have classes in 2 shifts. The primary school operated in the afternoon, while the secondary school ran in the morning. The new schedule was a big change for me, and as is often the case, it brought with it a lot of anxiety. Everything felt different. New teachers, a different style of teaching, new subjects, and new classmates. It was a somewhat depressing experience for a while until I eventually got used to it. I remember hearing stories from other students as we all tried to figure out our teachers' temperaments. Our science teacher, in particular, was fairly old and a bit cranky. Other students said he was weird, even crazy, and that impression stuck with me. I was a good student throughout my schooling. I studied hard for my exams and consistently ranked at the top of my class. I paid attention in class, did my homework, and prepared diligently for exams. We had tests every 6 to 8 weeks, and soon the first test of the year was upon us. Back then it was common practice to mix students from different grades during tests to prevent cheating. On the day of the science test, I was well prepared and eager to begin. The examiner started distributing the answer sheets and question papers. When I received mine, my heart sank. The questions were nothing like what I had studied. They seemed completely out of the syllabus. I couldn't answer a single question, and I was crying inside. It reminded me of the stories I had heard about our science teacher being weird and crazy, so I assumed he had set this bizarre question paper. Nevertheless, I tried to answer what little I could. After the test, I discussed the questions with my friends, telling them how hard they were. To my surprise, they were puzzled as to why I found them so difficult. As we compared questions, I realized that my question paper was different from theirs. How could that be? Upon closer inspection, I discovered that I had been given a 7th grade science paper while I was in the 5th grade. Suddenly, everything made sense. I'd been trying to solve a test meant for students 2 years ahead of me. I was shocked and blamed myself for making such a foolish mistake. In hindsight, I could have questioned the examiner when I first noticed the discrepancy. But the preconceived notion I had about our science teacher led me to assume he was up to something unusual, and I didn't think beyond that. I also failed to properly read the question paper, which clearly stated it was for the 7th grade. When the results came in, I had nearly perfect marks in all subjects except science, where I scored below the passing mark. I went to my class teacher and explained what had happened. He was kind enough to give me some grace marks, acknowledging that I was a good student and not trying to deceive anyone. Despite my low score in science, I still topped my class. In the end, all was well, but I learned a few important lessons that day. First, always read the paper carefully to ensure it's the correct one. Second, avoid making decisions based on preconceived notions. And finally, speak up if something doesn't seem right. I'm not perfect, but these lessons have certainly helped me reduce the number of mistakes I could have made since then.